Wrigley. Thanks. I think it's safe to say that AI panic is having a moment, animating the apocalyptic imagination like nothing since Oppenheimer's atomic bomb. And having spent the last 2 decades teaching on a university campus in the shadow of this storied temple to baseball, I speak from experience when I tell you that artificial intelligence is freaking out many of the students I have long referred to as Generation WTF. It's all good. It's a term of endearment and affection. It stands for Generation What's the Future, because they are. And I dedicate this talk to them. As someone old enough to remember the Cold War, there's no desk for us to hide under this time. AI has become this vast operating system virtually inside everything we use, everywhere we use it, and on all the time. And it's not going away. I don't presume to understand the inner workings of machines. I don't know if this is humanity's Prometheus or Icarus moment. I live with my doubts, and I'm cool with that because it reminds me I'm human. But I do believe this moment demands we change how we educate the next generation if we hope to give them a fighting chance as they embark on this massive, massive experiment with the future. And that begins by instructing students to major in being human. Every fall, I arrive on campus a year older. It's questionable if I'm any wiser, but I'm certainly feeling the passage of time. My students, however, are timeless, always in their 20s. They've come of age at the intersection of a global pandemic, a world at war, a planet on fire, and democracy under siege. So just to sauce stuff up a bit and make it super complicated, we've introduced AI to the mix. Even the fathers of deep learning are sounding the alarm. I'm not here today to tell scary stories. My students know we live in interesting times and the world's at an inflection point, but they're students. They're not the ones to have it all figured out. That's for the adults in the room. And why my responsibility as an educator is not only to prepare them for success in their professional careers, but remind them life is the career. Higher education shouldn't focus exclusively on higher earnings. Training for jobs that won't exist in 10 years or studying in narrow academic silos won't adequately prepare them for the vast horizons ahead. Besides, most of the jobs of the future haven't even been created yet. But the skills that we'll need in the future demand graduates who are intellectually resilient, emotionally courageous, able to think their way in and out of problems, and be lifelong learners. Because we're in danger of losing far more than just jobs, but our very humanity, if we fail to address and prevent the transformation of AI from tools to handmaidens. AI is a means, not an end. But it is changing the very notion of what it means to be human and even the definition of intimacy. Our rightful quest to graduate students in STEM disciplines is absolutely warranted. Traditional STEM consists of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But we need a new definition to survive the rise of the machines, one that resurrects the ancient goal of education, also teaching self-awareness, thoughtfulness, empathy, and meaning, STEM squared. STEM squared crystallized for me one evening with beloved and brilliant friends where we discussed how the world's going to need self-aware scientists, thoughtful technologists, empathetic engineers, and mathematicians who inspire meaning. We can't take for granted the great reforms vital to both scientific and social progress can be achieved if we don't infuse STEM with STEM squared. Schools must inspire the next Einstein, Galileo, and Turing, but also awaken the next Jane Austen, Jane Goodall, and Hypatia. Our spirits are fueled by great scientific progress, but people need art and civic culture, meaningful work, purpose, good food, love, and nature. Our spirits are fueled by all these, and the economics of the future can thrive in countless domains of life. That's the purpose of an education, to help contribute to building a better world, better people, as well as better widgets. Students must simultaneously consider what is so often thought paradoxical: capitalism and democracy, human rights and machines, the practical and the ideal. Why I believe this moment demands a public-private partnership on the scale of a Manhattan Project or Marshall Plan for reimagining education to address scientific and global challenges through the lens of ethics, justice, and humanism. The great centers of ancient learning, Platos Academy, the universities of Bologna, El-Khazar in Cairo, Cambridge, in their origin, devoted attention and instruction to the meaning of life itself and to a wide range of subjects, from astronomy to politics, physics to philosophy. In fact, when Abraham Lincoln enacted the Land Grant Act, advancing the mechanical and agricultural sciences of the first industrial revolution, those subjects were taught in tandem with the classics, fostering Lincoln's vision and Thomas Jefferson's grand ambition that education would create an aristocracy of achievement, rising from a democracy of opportunity. And it was those great public universities that helped the United States achieve remarkable feats in the 20th century and made American universities the envy of the world. We've reimagined education before, and we can again through timeless knowledge, or pedia, a marvelous word ascribed by Aristotle, that educating the mind without educating the spirit is no education at all. By embracing the ancient maxim, gnothi saiton, know thyself. Students need to develop self-awareness by experimenting and engaging with a wide range of subjects that help them find their voice. I mean, what are we doing if we're not helping young people figure out their passions and pursuits, exposing them to a wide range of ideas so they can figure out what they're good at and what they're not good at? Finding voice rises when we read the great canon of literature, study the histories rising from millennia of human experience, being curious about the world in all its forms. A skill more valuable than machines that may boost our analytical abilities, but lead students out of school quite possibly less creative than when they entered. Students need to develop thoughtfulness by being fearless enough to live in quiet moments where they reflect, not respond, not react, not tweet, not post, not email, not download. Just think. You knew this was coming. It's about leaning back from social media, curating a private life, protecting private, personal information. I don't know, go crazy, go analog, be mysterious. That's a skill more valuable than machines that don't care if they're truthful, but only if they're convincing. And the great Nobel physicist Murray Gell-Mann believed the most important skill in the 21st century is the capacity for synthesized thought. And the very best way to develop that, daydreaming. Something we've denied students constantly tethered to devices. Students need empathy from learning the achievements and joys, sorrows and failures of those unlike ourselves. Too often today, we surround ourselves by people that look like us, vote like us, believe like us, but we're all citizens of Socrates' borderless world. And understanding what goes on in the minds of others is a skill more valuable than machines delivering content without meaningful context. So you know what? Next time, talk to your cab driver. And maybe today, before you leave this stadium, talk to the person next to you. You may learn something remarkable. And lastly, students need to find meaning by living a life that doesn't compromise their values. Look, life's hard. It's messy and complicated. It's not always exciting. But students have had no hand in writing the rules of the game they're now asked to play. So if you can't accept what you can't change, change what you can't accept. Take action through corporal engagement in the physical world. It's not enough to just like an idea online. It's about fighting the good fights, giving voice to the voiceless, taking a stance, being brave, be iconoclasts, the great privilege of being young. Silicon Valley may be the new Athens. Both places rose from nothing and changed everything. Ancient Athens was the world's first global city. Silicon Valley, the first digital civilization, where a small cabal in this new temple of genius, driven by the sweetness of a quantum challenge, may have set into motion our generation's chain reaction, designing machines that outsmart humans. So perhaps we should listen to the echoes rising from ancient Athens, where for the first time in human history, man sat beneath an olive tree, drinking what I suspect was some pretty terrible wine, but conceived a whole new expression of what human life and the human mind are for. Why don't we spend $1 advancing the boundaries of human intelligence for every dollar we spend on AI? Because we can build a future where every child has an AI tutor named Aristotle, and where learning is rich, transformative, and truly wise, or do nothing and succumb to technologies pioneered by for-profit companies that we believe we control but may ultimately control us. The golden age of Athens at its apex lasted only 24 years. Google launched in 1999. Do the math. History's clock is ticking. I don't have all the answers. I have lots and lots of questions, but above all, I have hope. Hope that when I'm a relic surrounded by my children and my children's children, I can tell them in this moment we stopped the clock, remembered why we're here, who we are, and left this world a better place for all of us who call this pale blue dot our home. Thank you very much.